Hey everybody, welcome back to Living in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is Ken Cannon with the channel that helps you learn about why living in the Triangle area of North Carolina is the coolest part of our state to live. That's right, whether it's Raleigh, Chapel Hill, or Durham, there's so much to offer, so much this area has to offer, and we'd like to help you learn all about it. And if you're thinking about moving to the area or you'd like to just learn more about it here, reach out to the number below. Our team would be happy to help you move here. It's a crazy market right now, as in many places in the country. The real estate market is super competitive, our inventory is low, so having the right team help you find the right place is super important at this time. So reach out to us and we'd be happy to help. And before we jump into today's video, I just wanted to say a little apology, a little explanation as to why there's been so much time between this video and the last video. In June of this summer, my wife and I welcomed into the world our second child. Daniel was born on June 10th of this year. We've been very happy to invite him into our home, but as you can imagine, with a newborn and that being our second child, things have been a little bit crazy. So I'm happy to be jumping back on the horse, so to speak, here and putting out videos with great content for you guys. So stick around and stay tuned for today's video. Let's do it. You're watching Living in Raleigh, North Carolina. This is your host, Ken Cannon, here to tell you why living in Raleigh, Durham, or Chapel Hill, North Carolina is the coolest place in the Southeast. All right, thanks for watching and stay tuned. So today we're going to be talking about a Raleigh neighborhood, in particular the Boylan Heights neighborhood. As we talked about in a previous video, Raleigh was one of the first planned cities in North Carolina, and Boylan Heights was actually one of the first planned suburbs of that city. It's kind of a joke to call it a suburb today because it's smack downtown relative to the rest of the city, but at the time of its development it was considered an actual suburb of Raleigh. And so what are we looking at here time-wise? So Raleigh itself was started in the late 1700s, but in the beginning of the 1900s is when the suburbs started to be developed. So Boylan Heights was started to be constructed in the beginning of the 1900s, and about 1920 is when it saw its heyday, and it was a pretty opulent part of town. So the houses were built very nice, very quality construction, great craftsman style homes in that part of town, and just beautiful homes all throughout on very beautiful streets. In about 1930s, well, actually where the Great Depression came along, we started to see a lot of people moving out of that into the areas that we now consider the suburbs today, which is much further out of the city. And those homes that were once beautiful and quite opulent fell into disrepair and in varying states of disrepair, and they eventually became more rental homes than owner-occupied homes. And so over the continuing decades, we saw more and more disrepair, and we saw these once big beautiful homes being chopped up and turned into multiplexes, whether it's a duplex or 4 apartments in a big house. We saw them being sliced and diced in any way they could to make the most sense for the people living there. Starting in the 1980s, you started to see kind of more owner-occupied people coming back into that neighborhood, buying up those houses and fixing up those houses. Because of its proximity to downtown, it's always had this very cool energy to it, and the people living there are no different. It's a very there's an eclectic group of people that make up that community. And as more and more people started moving into there and calling it home, there was a really cool homeowners association that kind of built up there to kind of preserve the aesthetic that's there and the feel of that neighborhood without letting it get overdeveloped like some of the other areas surrounding the city. So it still has a very beautiful feel to it. The area itself is very special to me in the sense that when my wife and I first started dating, she lived right next to this part of town, and so when we go run sometimes in the evenings, we go run through there, or we go for walks through that neighborhood, and it's a really romantic area. Small rolling hills, beautiful old houses, big oak trees, and then a city skyline in the back. Adjacent to it, there's new restaurants and breweries that are popping up, so it's got a very cool nightlife feel to it as well, and you can kind of get out from your doorstep and just go and feel like you're part of it all. So it's a really cool neighborhood. The types of houses that you're going to see in there, again, we mentioned craftsman style building, some variations on that, but all sticking true to kind of the theme of the style of architecture at the beginning of the 1900s. So the houses all look kind of the same, but different, and they each have their own unique charm as well. Currently, you're still going to see a mix of rentals and owner occupied in there. The rentals that are in there, are homes that people have still owned for a long time, for the most part, and have had them rented out. As you can see here, there hasn't really been too many sales in the past year here relative to other neighborhoods in the Raleigh area. There were a few sales that were teardowns that I don't have listed here, but they came in around the $300,000 range. So that was about what you would pay just for a lot. Actually, a lot with some more ground prep on it, because you still got to get rid of the house that's there. So keep that in mind for costing as well. But yeah, those lots were about $300,000 for each one that I looked at. But just in recent sales, you can kind of get a range of what it costs to move in here, anywhere from $450,000 to about $700,000 for a relatively small space square footage wise, and when you compare it to other areas in Raleigh. However, that downtown charm does come with a premium, and you can see that cost per square foot here is a little bit higher. Now, I will say this area as a whole has seen pretty rapid appreciation over the last 2 years. So looking at these prices and looking at what it might cost to get in there now, if you could get in there, you'd probably end up spending quite a bit more than even what we're seeing here on paper today. So all that is to say, it's a wonderful neighborhood. It's a very sought after neighborhood to be in, and if you can find a house in there, it's super duper cool. But there's other great areas very nearby with very similar qualities that houses are a little bit more available. So if you're interested in this area, or perhaps learning about other areas, again, you definitely want to reach out to our team. We are happy to help you. But yeah, let's just take a look at a little bit more of what this neighborhood has to offer. All right, I think we've got a pretty good sense of what Boylan Heights has to offer. Again, it's an adorable neighborhood in Raleigh, super cute, but there are other neighborhoods just like it that are just as cute, and I would love to tell you all about them. So stick around and see what videos are coming next, and you'll learn more all about why, again, the Triangle region is the place to be here in North Carolina. If you're thinking about moving here, reach out to us. We'd love to help you find the best spot for you, whether it's Raleigh, Durham, or Chapel Hill. We cover it all, and we're happy to help you. All right, so until the next video, this has been Ken Cannon with Living in Raleigh, North Carolina. Again, reach out to us if you have any questions at all. Our team would love to help you. We help people move from all over the world to this area, and we're ready to go help you. So just reach out to us, and we'd love to hear from you. Until the next video, take care.